listen, what if I told you the pain you're running from is actually the power you're searching for? Yeah, that sleepless night, that rejection, that heartbreak, that moment when you felt completely lost, that's not your weakness. That's your raw material. That's your fuel. Most people break when life hits them. But a very few, they rise. The difference? They don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, how can I use this? Pain is a teacher. It teaches you what comfort never could. It forces you to grow, to adapt, to become stronger than you ever imagined. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, they didn't get there by avoiding pain. They got there by embracing it. When life knocks you down, you have two choices: stay down or stand up stronger. And let me tell you something, staying down is easy. Blaming others is easy. Quitting is easy. But greatness? Greatness demands that you take that pain and turn it into power, that rejection, use it as motivation, that failure, use it as a lesson, that struggle, use it as your training ground. Because every time you push through pain, you're building something inside you that nobody can take away. Strength, resilience, unstoppable belief. The truth is, pain is temporary. But the person you become through it, that's permanent. So stop running from your struggles. Stop wishing for an easy life. Instead, build a strong mindset, because storms don't last forever. But strong people, they do. And one day, you'll look back at everything you went through, and instead of saying, why me? You'll say, thank you, because it made me who I am. So take your pain, own it, control it, and turn it into power. Because you don't lose when you struggle, you lose when you quit. And you're not here to quit. You're here to win. Pain, most people see it as something negative, something to avoid, something that breaks them. But what if everything you believed about pain was wrong? What if pain is not your weakness, but your greatest source of strength? Think about the hardest moments in your life, the times when you felt rejected, ignored, or completely lost. In those moments, it feels like everything is falling apart. Your confidence drops. Your energy disappears. You start questioning yourself. And slowly, you begin to believe that maybe you're not strong enough. But here's the truth. Pain is not there to destroy you. Pain is there to reveal you. Because when everything is going well, you don't grow. You stay comfortable. You stay the same. There is no pressure forcing you to level up. But the moment pain enters your life, everything changes. Pain pushes you. It forces you to think differently, act differently, and become someone stronger than you were before. That heartbreak you went through, it taught you self-respect. That failure you faced, it taught you resilience. That rejection you experienced, it taught you persistence. Every painful experience carries a lesson, but only if you're willing to see it that way. The problem is, most people run from pain. They distract themselves. They avoid it. They numb it. And in doing that, they miss the opportunity to grow. Because growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you're challenged. Pain is like fuel, raw, powerful energy. But just like fuel, it depends on how you use it. You can let it burn you, or you can let it drive you forward. When you start seeing pain as fuel, everything changes. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, how can I use this? And that question alone shifts your entire mindset. Now your struggles become your motivation. Now your setbacks become your training ground. Now your pain becomes your power. And the more pain you go through, the stronger you become. Not weaker, stronger. Because every time you survive something difficult, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. You build confidence. You build toughness. You build a mindset that refuses to break. One day, you'll look back at your life and realize something powerful. The moments that hurt you the most were the moments that shaped you the most. They built your character. They sharpened your mind. They prepared you for something bigger. So don't fear pain. Don't run from it. Don't curse it. Use it. Because inside your pain is a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. And the only way to meet that version is to go through the struggle, not around it. Pain is not your weakness, it's your fuel. Dr. Nursey, most people spend their lives asking one question when things go wrong. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did I fail? Why did they leave? Why did life get so hard? And on the surface, it feels like a natural reaction. It feels justified. But the truth is, that question keeps you stuck, because why me turns you into a victim. It makes you focus on the problem instead of the solution. It drains your energy. It fills your mind with doubt, frustration, and negativity. And the more you repeat it, the more powerless you feel. You start believing that life is against you, that everything is unfair, and that you have no control. But winners, they think differently. Instead of asking, why me? They ask a much more powerful question: how can I use this? That one shift changes everything, because the moment you ask, how can I use this? You take your power back. You stop being a victim and start becoming a creator. Now, instead of focusing on what went wrong, you focus on what you can do next. That failure, you start analyzing it. You learn what didn't work and how to improve. That rejection, you use it as motivation to prove yourself. That pain, you channel it into discipline, into action, into growth. This mindset doesn't ignore the struggle. It transforms it. Understand this clearly. Every situation in your life can either break you or build you. The difference is not the situation itself, it's your perspective. Two people can go through the exact same pain, and one comes out stronger while the other stays stuck. Why? Because one keeps asking, why me? While the other asks, what now? When you start asking better questions, you start getting better answers. Instead of why did I fail, ask what can this failure teach me? Instead of why is this so hard? Ask how can I grow through this? Instead of why is this happening? Ask how can I turn this into an advantage? Now your brain starts working for you, not against you. This is how strong people are built, not because they avoid pain, but because they use it. They take every negative experience and find something valuable in it. Even if it's just a lesson, even if it's just strength, they take something. And over time, that habit changes who you are. You become more focused, more resilient, more in control. You stop waiting for life to be easy, and you start making yourself stronger. So the next time life hits you, and it will, don't fall into the trap of asking, why me? Don't give your power away like that. Pause for a moment, breathe, and ask yourself a better question. How can I use this? Because hidden inside every struggle is an opportunity to grow, to learn, to rise. But only those who look for it find it, and once you master this mindset, nothing in life can truly break you, because no matter what happens, you'll always find a way to turn it into power. Comfort feels good. It feels safe, predictable, and easy. You wake up, follow the same routine, avoid risks, and stay within limits that don't challenge you. And for a while, it seems like the right place to be. No stress, no pressure, no fear. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Nothing grows in comfort. When you stay in your comfort zone, you stay the same person. Same mindset, same habits, same results. There is no progress because there is no challenge forcing you to evolve. Comfort might protect you from pain, but it also blocks you from becoming better. Growth begins the moment discomfort enters your life. It starts when things stop feeling easy, when you're pushed beyond what you're used to, when you face situations that test your patience, your strength, and your confidence. That uncomfortable feeling, the fear, the uncertainty, the pressure, that's not a sign that something is wrong. That's a sign that something is changing. Think about it like this. Every time you try something new, it feels uncomfortable. Speaking in front of people, starting something on your own, facing rejection, pushing your limits, it all feels difficult at first. Your mind resists it. Your body hesitates. You want to go back to what feels safe. But if you keep going, something powerful happens, you adapt. What once felt impossible starts to feel normal. What once scared you starts to build your confidence. And slowly, without even realizing it, you become stronger. That's how growth works. It doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's uncomfortable again and again until it shapes you into someone new. Pain plays a major role in this process because pain forces you out of comfort. It pushes you into situations you didn't choose, challenges you didn't expect, and struggles you didn't plan for. And in those moments, you have no choice but to grow. You learn how to handle pressure. You learn how to control your emotions. You learn how to keep going even when it's hard. These are things comfort can never teach you. The problem is, most people misunderstand discomfort. They think if something feels hard, it means it's wrong. So they quit. They step back. They return to what's easy. And by doing that, they stay stuck. But the truth is, discomfort is a signal. It's telling you that you're stepping into a new level. It's telling you that you're stretching beyond your limits. And that's exactly where growth happens. If you want to become stronger, more confident, more successful, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to stop running from challenges and start facing them. You have to stop avoiding pressure and start embracing it. You have to understand that struggle is not your enemy, it's your training, because every time you go through discomfort and don't quit, you level up. You build resilience. You build courage. You build a mindset that refuses to stay average. And one day, you'll realize something powerful. The things that once felt uncomfortable are now your strength. The challenges that once scared you are now part of who you are. So don't chase comfort. Chase growth. And if it feels uncomfortable, difficult, even painful at times, good, that means it's working. Shh. Top failure has a way of making you feel like everything is over, like all your effort meant nothing, like you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough to succeed. It hits your confidence, shakes your belief, and makes you question whether you should even keep going. And that's exactly why most people fear it. They see failure as the end of the road, a final judgment on their abilities, something to be ashamed of, something to avoid at all costs. So they play safe. They stop taking risks. They stay in their comfort zones just to make sure they don't fail. But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every successful person you look up to has failed more times than you can imagine. The difference is they didn't treat failure as a loss. They treated it as feedback, because every failure carries information. It tells you what didn't work. It shows you where you went wrong. It exposes your weaknesses and highlights what needs improvement. And if you're willing to face it honestly, failure becomes one of the most powerful teachers in your life. The problem isn't failure itself. The problem is how you respond to it. When you see failure as a loss, you shut down. You get discouraged. You stop trying. But when you see it as a lesson, something shifts inside you. Instead of feeling defeated, you become curious. You start asking better questions. What can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? How can I improve? And those questions lead to growth. Think about it. If you never failed, you would never learn. You would never improve your skills, never sharpen your thinking, never build resilience. You would stay average because nothing would push you to become better. Failure forces you to grow. It forces you to reflect, to adapt, to come back stronger. And every time you fail and choose to keep going, you build something incredibly valuable. Experience gives you an edge. It makes you wiser. It helps you avoid the same mistakes. It teaches you what works and what doesn't. And over time, all those lessons start to add up. What once felt like failure becomes part of your foundation. But there's another powerful side to failure that most people don't talk about. It builds mental strength. When you fail and still choose to continue, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you're not fragile. You prove that setbacks don't define you. You prove that no matter how hard things get, you can get back up. That kind of belief cannot be taught. It has to be earned, and it's earned through failure. So instead of fearing it, start embracing it. Stop seeing it as something negative and start seeing it as a necessary step forward. Because every time you fail, you're not moving backward. You're getting closer to success, one lesson at a time. Don't let failure break you. Let it teach you. Let it guide you. Let it shape you into someone stronger, smarter, and more prepared for what's ahead. Because in the end, failure is only a loss if you refuse to learn from it. But if you learn, if you grow, if you keep moving forward, then failure becomes your greatest advantage. Resilience is not something you're born with. It's not a talent and it's not luck. It's built slowly, painfully, and intentionally through the struggles you face and the moments you refuse to give up. Most people think strength comes from winning, from success, from everything going right. But real strength, the kind that lasts, is built in the moments when everything goes wrong. It's built when you feel like quitting but choose to continue. It's built when you're tired, frustrated, and overwhelmed, but still show up. It's built when life tests you again and again, and you decide not to break. That is resilience. Every struggle you go through is shaping you, whether you realize it or not. When you face challenges, your mind is being trained. Your emotional control is being tested. Your patience is being stretched. And every time you push through, instead of giving up, you're strengthening something inside you. At first, it doesn't feel like strength. It feels like pressure. It feels uncomfortable. You may even feel like you're barely holding on. But that's the process. That's how resilience is formed. Think about a muscle. It only grows when it's under stress. When it's pushed beyond its normal limit, small tears form, and as it recovers, it becomes stronger than before. Your mind works the same way. Struggles are your mental workouts. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to build endurance. The more you go through, the more you can handle. Things that once felt impossible start to feel manageable. Situations that once broke you no longer have the same power over you. And that's when you start to realize you're changing. You're becoming calmer under pressure. You're thinking more clearly during tough moments. You're no longer reacting emotionally to every problem. That's resilience in action. But here's the part most people miss. Resilience is a choice. You don't automatically become strong just because you're going through a hard time. You become strong because you decide to face it, to learn from it, and to keep going despite it. Two people can go through the same struggle, but only one becomes resilient. Why? Because one chooses growth, while the other chooses to give up. Every time you choose to stand back up, you're reinforcing that mindset. You're telling yourself, no matter what happens, I will keep going. And over time, that belief becomes unshakable. Once you build that kind of resilience, life changes. Challenges no longer scare you the same way. Failures don't hit as hard. Uncertainty doesn't stop you because deep down you know something powerful. You've been through tough times before and you survived. You adapted, you grew, and you'll do it again. That confidence doesn't come from comfort. It comes from struggle. So don't wish for an easier life. Don't hope that challenges disappear. Because without them, you don't grow. Without them, you don't build the strength you need to handle bigger opportunities. Instead, embrace the struggle. Understand that every difficult moment is adding something to you. Every setback is strengthening your mindset. Every obstacle is preparing you for a higher level, because resilience is not built in comfort. It's built in the fire. And once you come out of that fire stronger, nothing in life can easily break you again. Winning is not about never struggling. It's not about having a perfect path or avoiding pain or getting everything right the first time. Winning is about one simple thing: not quitting. That's it. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you make. It doesn't matter how slow your progress feels. As long as you keep moving forward, you are still in the game. But the moment you quit, everything ends there. That's why quitting is so dangerous. Not because it brings pain, but because it silently kills your potential. It convinces you that this is your limit, that this is all you're capable of. And once you accept that, you stop trying, you stop growing, you stop believing. Most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they give up too early. They face one rejection and stop. They face one failure and walk away. They go through one tough phase and decide it's not worth it. But what they don't realize is how close they were. Success doesn't come all at once. It builds slowly behind the scenes. Through effort no one sees. Through struggles no one talks about. Through moments where it feels like nothing is working. And in those moments, quitting feels like the easiest option. But easy doesn't lead to success. The people who win are not always the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who last the longest, the ones who keep going when it's hard, when it's boring, when it feels like nothing is changing. They understand something powerful. Every step forward counts, even if it's small, even if it's slow, even if no one notices. Progress is still progress. And over time, those small steps add up. They turn into results. They turn into breakthroughs. They turn into success, but only if you don't quit. There will be days when you feel exhausted, days when you doubt yourself, days when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. That's normal. That's part of the journey. What matters is what you do in those moments. Do you stop or do you keep going? Because every time you choose to continue, you're building momentum. You're proving to yourself that you're committed, that you're not someone who gives up when things get difficult. And that mindset is what separates winners from everyone else. Winners are not people who never struggle. They struggle, they fall, they fail, but they refuse to quit. They get back up, they learn, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. Eventually, that persistence pays off. One day, the effort starts to show. The results start to come. And all the struggles you went through begin to make sense. You realize that every difficult moment was shaping you, preparing you, pushing you toward this point, but none of that would have happened if you had quit. So remember this, you don't lose when things get hard. You don't lose when you fail. You don't lose when you struggle. You only lose when you decide to stop, so keep going. No matter how tough it gets, keep going. No matter how long it takes, keep going. No matter how many times you fall, keep going. Because as long as you're still moving, still trying, still fighting, you haven't lost. You're on your way to winning.